Welcome, everyone, to the Boiling Point podcast. This is episode 84, The Legacy of Marcus Frederiksen. And if we're talking about Marcus again, of course, if you didn't know, Marcus does the music. He plays us in, plays us out on every episode of the Boiling Point podcast and on our sister show, the Mayhem Original. We also use his music on that podcast as well. So make sure you check out his music at reverbnation.com/Marcus Frederiksen and give him a like and a share. My guest on this episode is his sister, Mia Jean. Mia, welcome back to the Boiling Point podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on and taking the time again. We had you on last time before you did a celebration event for Marcus. And now you're getting ready to host a second one. So I wanted to, when I saw you were doing that and launching an apparel line, so I wanted to get you back on so that you could talk about those things and the continued legacy that you're carrying on for your brother, which I'm sure he's very proud of what you've been doing, not just of what you do in your personal life, but what you've been adding to your life, since everything has been going on.
He's probably thinking, why didn't you do this when I was there? I could have helped, but
You know what? Honestly, he probably is. He seemed to have a similar personality that I do also, and that's definitely something that I'd have been thinking of is like, well, why didn't you do this while I was still there? But in a joking way, not in a malice way, in a joking way. Like, what are you doing now? We gotta wait till now. What? So yeah. But I'm sure he's very proud of the work that you're doing and continuing on and being able to help people grieve and continue to get through this. And celebration is always a better way to go than, the other way. So I think that's all great. So the next event now is in Wyoming. The first one was in Vegas.
Correct.
And you had it in Las Vegas because that's where he lived.
Right.
And now this one's going to be in Casper, Wyoming.
Correct.
And May 14th, 4 to 8 p.m. at the Eagles. I don't know where that is because I'm not from Wyoming. But
great for those who are listening and aren't sure.
Yep. I'm hopefully, Mia, you'll be sharing this out. That's why I wanted to do this also. I figured it'd be a nice central place for if you needed to give people details, you could just point them right to this. Right. So yeah, that's Casper, Wyoming, the celebration of life for Marcus, May 14th from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Eagles. Okay, so the first celebration of life you had was successful. The first event, it was successful.
Yes. Yep. It was very successful. Yep.
Okay. And then I imagine you think the second one. I mean, the second one's probably going to be just as successful. Now you're not running. It's not a fundraiser. It's not charging any money. It doesn't cost anything. It's just a celebration. There's no fundraiser involved or anything.
Correct. So Marcus was part of various bands and was very instrumental in helping other people come to love music and play instruments and stuff. So all of those people that we've been able to reach will also be playing at this event in honor of Marcus, which is kind of cool. So I think it's probably going to be pretty huge. A lot of Marcus's friends and family live in Casper, so it'll give them an opportunity to honor him.
Okay, so that's great. So you're going to bring in, did you have music? I can't believe that. Okay, the buzzer going off in the background. Please ignore that. So, yeah, that's great that you're helping, continuing even his work where you're helping other bands, showcase their talent and their work and stuff like that through this event. How many bands? Now, I know he's a musician. He does the music for the Boiling Point podcast, but I didn't know he played with multiple bands. How many bands did he play with?
You know what? I don't know that I would even know. I know he played with, he was the drummer for Rock Farmer. I know that he played with the Grease Monkeys. I know that there were a couple of people that it was just him and them, but there's so many. I couldn't even begin to tell you how many, and I couldn't even begin to name them all. So yeah, if they see this tight, they can tag themselves when they watch it.
Okay, great. So if you're watching this and you played music with Marcus, tag your band or yourself. under in the comments of this episode. Um, Now he also played solo. His album is a solo album, right?
Correct.
The one that's on Reverb Nation, reverbnation.com/Marcus Frederiksen. The link's always available in the description of every single episode of the Boiling Point podcast and Mayhem Original. And we have links to the songs that we actually use for the opening and the exit as well. So he played with bands. He played by himself. He loved music then. He just wanted to be playing all the time, I guess.
Correct. Yep.
Now he only released the one solo album. Did the bands that he played with, did you happen to know if they released any albums with him playing on it?
So Rock Farmer did. Rock Farmer released an album. Years and years and years ago, obviously. They did fundraisers. They were just a phenomenal group of guys working together. So it was kind of sad when they all started moving away and having lives and whatever have you. So some of those guys that played with him and Rock Farmer will also be at this event. So that will be amazing.
Okay, great. And if any of the bandmates who played with Marcus Frederiksen are watching this episode and you'd like to come on the Boiling Point podcast to promote your band or your work or just to talk about Marcus, make sure you send the page a message. Send the Boiling Point podcast page a message. I always respond within a few hours. So, do that. It's okay. And we'll have you on. So you're continuing the work, the legacy, all, his work from helping people, get noticed to the celebration of his life. And now you also have an apparel brand, a store apparel.
Correct. So we launched the Humankind merch store March 6th, maybe a little prematurely. Some of the stuff is, it's not made, but it's ready to be made. So probably should have waited, but we were too excited. So shirts, cups, mugs, hats, stuff like that. And it all stemmed from Marcus used to put posts on Facebook called The Humankind. And it was encouraging words or loving words or words of faith. And so all of that stuff will carry on, and we'll be displaying some of that stuff at the celebration of life so that we can maybe get some more of Marcus's words out there.
Yeah, excellent. That's great. And yes, I saw his posts that he did pretty frequently, the Humankind.
Yep.
And like you said, it was always positive, uplifting things that he was posting. And that's great that you're carrying on that too now by, launching an apparel. Now, is this going to be for charity, or is it not going to be for profit? Is it just going to be at cost, or how are you handling the apparel?
I don't know that we necessarily need to make money off of the deal. It was, it's really just to help spread the word. And our slogan or logo or whatever is to normalize the good, because there's so much bad out there and there's so much negativity and hatred. And why wouldn't we all want to be normalizing the good? So that's where we're at. We've got a lot of things going that say normalize the good on them. So
okay, so that's good, but it's not for profit then, so you won't be donating anything to charity or anything like that. It's just going to be at cost then.
Yeah, maybe if it takes off and starts paying the bills, I don't know, but that's definitely not why we started it. If that turns out to be what my retirement plan is, spread Marcus's word, by golly, whatever. But for right now, we really just want to keep Marcus's memory alive. So that's the most important thing.
And his kind words and his good attitude.
Right. And maybe a little bit of sarcasm.
Yeah, well, that kind of goes hand in hand with, I think, being disabled sometimes, because I'm certainly have my share of sarcasm as well. So, and I know he did also. So, yeah, I think that kind of goes hand in hand. You got to be able to have a sense of humor. Anybody does in this life. You got to have a sense of humor. If you don't have a sense of humor, you're going to have a pretty sad life, really.
For sure.
And Yeah, and that was one thing Marcus always tried to find the positivity and the funniness in something. So, and that's that's great that you're continuing on his legacy. Maybe we'll have to try and maybe do something if possible. Maybe we'll try and do something. Maybe we can do a short live event or something from the event and have you on or something like that. I'm working. We're trying to go to some live shows, so maybe we can try and make that work. Now, about these events that you've been planning, are you doing it all yourself, or are you getting some people to help you?
Oh gosh, no. So the first event, Marcus's roommate, best friend, brother from another mother, Malcolm Crow actually hosted that, set it up, was phenomenal in making that happen. And then Ryan Stepp and Zach Shelley are helping me with this one, and they are lifelong family friends. And so it's been very, very refreshing to have people who know what they're doing and how to do it, and willing to help. So
Yeah, that's good. And it's good that you're getting some help to keep this going as well. Doing it by yourself can I'm sure can get taxing. So that's great that you got lots of help and people are offering to help put these events on and stuff. And I think they're great. I hope that you continue to have them even after this one. And keep inviting bands. I think you should start turning it into a whole like day long event or whatever you're doing. You know what I mean? I think you should just keep trying to see if it'll continue to grow. Kind of like the apparel. See what comes of it. You never know. And plus with Marcus, with Marcus upstairs, guiding the way a little bit, or at least putting the good word in with the important people upstairs, then, you know, I'm sure you're destined to continue to be successful with these things.
I hope so.
Is there anything, I don't want to just make it too short of an episode here. I wanted to keep talking with you, but I don't really know what else we could talk about. We covered a lot of stuff about Marcus in the first episode you were on. Do you have anything that you want to bring up or talk about?
So there's gonna be, so I took all of his songs off of Reverb Nation. I put them all
Oh,
on a thumb drive. They're still on there, obviously, but like I transferred them to a thumb drive,
okay.
and those thumb drives will be available at this event for we're hoping for donation, and those donations will be going to Shriners Hospital. So
Okay.
for those that don't know, Shriners was very instrumental in getting Marcus artificial limbs when he was a child. And so I think he would be honored to know that any monies that are, made in lieu of flowers and that type stuff will be going to Shriners. So
Okay, well that's great. All right. So yeah, if you're there, then you can pick up his music so you can have it portable on a thumb drive. I should
there's
let you.
only 50. So if somebody, once they're gone, they're gone. So
Oh, there's only 50. Okay. You still have it on you still have it on Reverb Nation, the
yeah,
music? Okay.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Yes, just so you know, as soon as I've already many, 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 many months ago, I have all of his music downloaded onto my computer. Um,
Right.
yeah, I went right to the station and downloaded everything. Just because that was before we had talked or anything, so I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if the family was going to keep the station up or if they were going to take it down. You don't know in a situation like that.
Sure. Yep. Nope.
So,
Everything is staying up. So I man his Facebook, which um I don't do anything with it other than I log into it so that Facebook still thinks he's active. It's not going to change anything. I mean, if people send him messages, that's between him and the people. So it's literally just a login to keep that Facebook active. And the same thing with the reverb is I don't want it to ever go away. I want people to always have an outlet and a
yeah.
way to reach out to him if that's what they, if they're having a moment and they need to, they certainly can do that. So,
Well, that's excellent. And yes, I think it's good that you keep his station and yeah, with these things, the Reverb Nation station and Facebook, you want to keep it active or at least like have logins because you never know. Some of these companies when as soon as something becomes inactive, they take it down or remove it or whatever. So yeah, I think it's great that you're doing that, and I don't think anybody would have a problem with that. And so you're not responding to messages. So if anybody
right.
sends Marcus a message, they should not expect a response from you.
Nope. Nope. They will not. It won't even be opened.
Okay.
Yep. Won't even be opened. In fact, the last message I sent him still has not been opened.
Okay, then.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, then there you go. So send him a message if you want to send him a message. Check out his reverbnation.com/Marcus Frederiksen. Is there anything else you wanted to cover?
I don't think so. I really appreciate you taking the time and helping keep his memory alive and playing his music, especially.
Yeah, definitely. Like I told you before, we're going to keep it on the Boiling Point podcast for as long as the show is going. So, yep, and I got it on 2 podcasts now. We'll see how long the second one goes for, the Mayhem Original. That's where I do all the entertainment stuff, sports, and all that. I'm not entirely convinced that one will be around necessarily a year from now, but the Boiling Point podcast will be around for a long, long time. And yeah, we'll definitely. I made the decision after everything happened that he would stay. I mean, actually, really, I made it before that because I liked my relationship with him. So he's going to stay either the opening or the closing of the Boiling Point podcast for as long as the Boiling Point podcast runs. So and I'm going to continue to do that. He'll stay either the opening. I may change up the music. I may pick some different songs, just like I have before. I use different songs now than when I first started using his music. So we may switch up the songs from time to time, but we're always going to be using his songs, at least for the opening or the closing. At least one or the other will always have his music. And of course, in the description of all our episodes, you can find links to his station and the songs that we use. So check them out, give them a share, give them a like, leave us a comment. Leave us a comment here on Facebook, leave us a comment on Rumble, leave us a comment on YouTube. Our YouTube is down right now. If you're watching this in the next couple of days, our YouTube is down right now. We got a YouTube strike, so it'll be at least a week before we start updating the YouTube channel again. So if you're watching this on Rumble or Facebook and you were like, hey, what happened to your root YouTube channel? Well, they gave me a strike and we're not able to update it. So isn't that something? And check out, hold on, I want to tell you this again. For anybody that is in Casper, Wyoming, or if you're going to be visiting Casper, Wyoming on May 14th, the celebration of life for Marcus Frederiksen, 4 to 8 p.m. at the Eagles. I cannot tell you where that is because I'm not from Wyoming. I'm in Pennsylvania. Mia is in Wyoming. And then, of course, check out. Do you have a storefront for the merch for the Humankind?
No, just Facebook right now.
Okay, so what do they just need to contact you?
It's all just baby steps. Yep, just contact me.
Okay, just contact Mia, and if you are interested in some of the Humankind apparel. And we don't have any pictures. You know what? I didn't even think about that. Getting pictures to put up on this episode to show some apparel.
Yeah, and I think
show some of the designs
too on that site, and it's t-shirts. One's blue and one's black, I think.
Okay. Well, I'll have to try and get one. And Mia, you know what? I do have to harass you for just a moment before we get ready to wrap it up because you're not wearing your Boiling Point podcast t-shirt today.
Nope, because I'm wearing a Normalize the Good t-shirt today.
Oh, is that one of the shirts? Okay. Well, then that makes sense then. Well, then that makes sense. Well, then I retract my hat. I have to give you.
Yep.
Well, then that makes sense then. I guess I suppose that's acceptable since you are promoting the new apparel line that you're wearing it. So that's fine. Mia does have a Boiling Point podcast t-shirt. Make sure you check out our storefront, the Boiling Point Podcast, bonfire.com/store/the Boiling Point Podcast. We do not donate our profits to charity. The profits that I make off that storefront go to continue to help me do this podcast and, live. So make sure you go buy a t-shirt or share it out. We have lots of different apparel and design options. We have grocery totes. We have the coffee mug, t-shirts, sweatshirts, long sleeve shirts, women's slim fits. So go check that out and share it out, please. You can find us on YouTube, Parler, Rumble, and Facebook, the Boiling Point Podcast. Just search the Boiling Point Podcast on any of those things. You can find us. And if you need an invite to the event in Casper, Wyoming, if you need an invite to that, a Facebook invite to that, please reach out to me, send me a message. I can send you to the right people to get you an invite, or reach out to Mia. She can send you an invite if you want more details, or if you just want to put down that you're going, or leave a comment on the page. So if you need access to that or an invite to that, please reach out to me on the page or to Mia, and one of us can make that happen and get you an invite. Anything else? Am I missing anything? Sometimes I forget things at the end when I'm wrapping things up. All right. Well, Marcus Frederiksen, he's going to continue to play us out as he always does. ReverbNation.com/Marcus Frederiksen. Share out his music. Leave us a comment of what your favorite song is. We'll have Mia on again. I'm looking for more reasons to have Mia on. Mia is not necessarily a political person or wants to come on to talk about political or financial things. So I've been trying to come up with more ways to have Mia on. So let's leave her some questions. Leave her some questions, and leave us a comment on what your favorite song of Marcus's is. If you have a favorite song of his, leave a comment, and then we'll have Mia back on, and we'll ask her what her favorite song is, and we'll talk about some of his songs. So do that and share it out. Please share it out. That's what's going to help us grow this podcast the most, is if you share out our content. I appreciate all the likes and comments and shares I get on the memes that I post on the page. Now, if I can just get a tiny fraction of that onto the episodes, please share some episodes, leave a comment on an episode. The algorithms will help us reach more people and will help us continue to grow. For Mia Jean, thank you, Mia, and I'm sure Marcus appreciates that you carry on his legacy and the work that you're doing. I know for a fact he does. So continue the hard work and stay strong through everything. I'm your host, JD, and that's going to be the end. And thanks to everybody who helped me set these events up. Thanks to everybody who helped set these events up, and everybody who continues to help and work and support her with carrying on Marcus's legacy. Anybody involved with the legacy of Marcus Frederiksen, you have the thanks of the Boiling Point podcast. And that's the end.
I'm not around, have you found? I'm always on you.